Oh, man, it's been a busy month, but a great month. Hey, who saw Emmett Finley's Sit Down and Stand Up special? Emmett hosted 4 comedians. It went so well, so many laughs. If you want to see it, go ahead and check out the channel. It'll be in there for you. However, tonight on Now You're Talking with Dave McCabe, we've got a real life siren, like a siren, like ships going into the jagged rocks and the scary stuff. But like we got one, and they're gonna be here a little bit later on tonight. So look out for that. Plus, we have an exclusive. For the first time ever, we have a live musician. So between the interviews, we're gonna have somebody live. I can't wait to bring this to you. But first off, have you ever seen one of those pharmaceutical commercials or those commercials where people have conditions and such? Well, those are models too. And tonight, we're going to talk to one. So, Janice Lansbury, you're up. And let's talk medical conditions.
You know, there are hand models, there's clothing models, there's online models, model trains, model homes. There's like an endless amounts of kinds of models. Have you ever seen an ad for a pharmaceutical or a medical condition? You know, there's models for those things as well. Today, we welcome one of those models, medical condition model, Janice Lansbury, son of a Gunsby. Now you're talking with Dave McCabe.
Hello, Dave. It's marvelous to be with you today.
Hey, sorry about tripping over your name a little bit. I just watched Beauty and the Beast, and all I thought about was that silly tea kettle. You know what I mean?
I get that all the time. Don't you worry.
Thank you so much. And hey, don't mind Bob. He is a mega fan. I think he saw everything that you did. Is like, I wasn't quite sure I'd ever be able to reach you, but apparently you guys were conversing through Facebook or something. But, you know, I hope just at one point that if we ever meet live, that you could sign his favorite smock for him.
Absolutely. It would be my pleasure.
Heck yeah. Bob's like bursting. I mean, look at him. Golly. Well, hey, let's start by getting through your bio. My God. Janice, she's one of London's most sought after medical condition models. Starting at the age of 3, an ad agency representative discovered Janice in an open market. As it happens, Janice had a harmless but alarming inflamed rash covering 2/3 of her body. Ever cheerful Janice's infectious smile could not help but have her get picked out for this. He caught his eye. Reviewing her intensive resume, I'm at a loss to find what conditions she didn't represent. From pink eye to herpes, Janice is highly respected and was introduced into the Medical Condition Academy Hall of Fame in 2017. In fact, she is the only model ever to receive the, oh God, am I reading this right? The Uzi? Each and every, oh God, you're happy about that? Each and every year of the Academy's yearly awards. So, I mean, holy smokes. I mean, we've got a master on our hands, folks.
Well, that was such a wonderful summary, Dave. Yeah, I am proud of those awards and being the premier medical condition model. Absolutely. Yeah, it's something that I am very proud of.
Yeah, who couldn't be helpful, but it's like, it's funny how you find things, but Uzi? Huh. You know?
Well, I appreciate the pun. But I take it a little more seriously than the Academy, perhaps.
Well, clearly, because you are the premier elite model for this. But I have to say, after reading that long list of conditions, how are you feeling today? Are you all right?
Do you know, I feel marvelous, Dave. Absolutely marvelous.
Is this one of those things where, like, as if you get so many of the conditions, like if you have the flu, like you can ward the flu off. If you have syphilis, it's not as bad, or you're more prone to not get it?
Well, obviously some conditions do take more of a toll than others. But generally, I think my positive disposition means I'm perfectly suited to this kind of thing. I can take on an illness and still continue to live my life while portraying its impact on a human life.
I just heard you say portray, but I understand you go a little bit method. Like if whenever possible, you actually contract or have the disease contracted upon you.
Yes, no, absolutely. Obviously, when I was younger, it all started off with makeup and trickery. And, in this day and age, I could go the digital route. It's been suggested, but I just feel that by actually having the condition, by living the truth of what it's like, you can see the difference in the photos, Dave.
Yeah. Like I'm kind of like, is there any sort of like drinking game to where is whenever you come on TV, like the Bob Newhart, anytime anybody said Bob, like anytime you actually had the condition, somebody would take a drink, or if you were using prosthetics and makeup, they wouldn't take a drink.
I mean, my fan club is quite extensive, and some of them have told me that yes, they do. They do play those little silly drinking games. It just, it makes me laugh. It's nice to be appreciated for your work.
Yeah, I totally get it. In fact, when we're done here, I'm absolutely going to look you up on YouTube just to see if I can see all of your fans playing the Janice, instead of the Bob. So you started really young at that blistering, inflamed rash you had at 3 years old. So is there anything you missed in your childhood, do you think, by having these conditions or portraying the conditions?
Well, that's a very good question. And I often sit and I look back and go, if I wasn't so scabby and crusty and pussy, particularly as a young girl, maybe I would have had more friends. It meant I was very well prepared for the awkward teenage years. A little bit of acne hasn't got anything on, facial oozing. Oh. So in some ways, it stood me in good stead, I think. I wouldn't change a thing, Dave.
But how about your social life? Clearly you were being recognized on the street. How hard was it to date? You had your awkward teenage years where you're discovering. I'd imagine there was more than a handful of things that like the folks would be discovering on you.
Well, it was challenging initially. Obviously, there are some people who are very afraid of my line of work, and obviously the possibility of contagion. To some people, that's actually a draw, though, Dave.
It's like a kink? Is that what?
Yeah, absolutely. Kidding. I know. I was not prepared for that, let me tell you. But no, things settled down once I met my partner, Jerry. He's wonderful. He makes me laugh. He has no problem wearing, gloves and a hazmat suit when I'm preparing for a particularly contagious role. Oof. He's just perfect.
Oh, we all have to find our mate, right? But I can just imagine the patience. I almost wish he was there, but I understand he's in quarantine due to a mishap that occurred about a month ago.
He is, yes. He's bearing it very well. But we're used to these kind of times apart. There's sometimes I hate to talk about the coronavirus, but I've done some modeling for that too. And so obviously we have spent some time apart in the past year, but Sure. He's never anything but supportive of me.
Cool. I totally get that. And I'm sure you guys have almost perfected your intimacy by holding your hand up to the glass as you have to be medically separated during the times of, let's say, infection.
Yeah, there are some moments like that. Yes. Yeah. But we're there, we capture them on Instagram, at Janice Lansbury on Instagram for everyone out there.
Okay. Yeah, please look her up. But keep one of these nearby. She's good, people. She is good. Now, like attractive wise, it makes me think I'm so glad you found Jerry. And when he gets old, I'm sure he would be geriatric. Yep, I threw in a pun. That's what I do. I'm a talk show host. Hey, but just seriously though, like if I met you, I'm trying to walk in Jerry's shoes. It's like if somebody accidentally threw my toothbrush like in the toilet and then said, hey, Dave, here's your toothbrush. And I washed it 1,000,000 times. You can continue to use it. I would probably not use it and get another toothbrush. Your situation really speaks to Jerry's love, in my opinion.
absolutely. I mean, when you love someone, you love them, and things like that don't matter. I think that's my belief.
I think so too. Like love is just love, and that's it. Hey, while I have you, I just always like to bring up some questions and just to see like where you at, because you've had such a long career in this. Is there a medical condition that you just loved representing? Like it just like you were on high heaven every time that they said, "I need you to do this."
Oh my goodness. There's so many. It's like this is like asking someone to pick their favorite child. It really is.
It's normally the middle one, but go ahead.
Push comes to shove, I would say scabies.
Oh,
It's a little bit niche, but
yeah.
you get fantastic dramatic payoff. There's a lot of crusting, a lot of kind of facial inflammation.
Mhm.
It's just, oh, Dave. No, it's just one of those conditions that's really dramatic. You can really, really get your teeth into that one, so to speak.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for that description. That being said, is there a medical condition that you just like hated being associated with? Like if you were walking down the streets and dressed to the nines and like looking in your prettiest outfit, and all of a sudden they went, "Oh God, it's
the common cold, Dave.
oh,
It's
you're
just,
kidding."
yeah, no. I knew you were asking because you wanted me to say something that's like ew or
Yeah.
disgusting, but no, honestly, it's just so boring and mundane and snotty and
Oh.
downright disgusting. Common colds are terrible, awful, and I wouldn't want anyone thinking I was walking down the street with a cold.
Okay. You know what? Thank you, because that's a point of view that I wasn't expecting, and we need to hear more of that. Now, do you have a smell that you love?
Medical gloves, hands down.
Really?
I couldn't do what I do, Dave, if I didn't like the smell of them. But to me, they're catnip to me, Dave.
Oh my gosh. I've got a cat. I've seen catnip. Medical gloves are catnip to you? Okay.
Then you get the idea.
I do. So nitrile or latex?
Latex, absolutely. All the way.
You know what? I couldn't imagine a person with your experience having any allergies whatsoever. So I guess that we should have assumed. Now, is there a smell that you just absolutely hate? Like what turns your stomach? I mean, I've kept good old Handy here for the interview, but what turns your stomach?
It's hand sanitizer.
Oh my God, really?
Yes, I think I just get so much exposure to it.
Mhm.
With people around me, occasionally I'll walk into a room, people might missed it. So no, I don't like it at all.
Oh man, talk about the person that has all the opposite answers that I'm expecting. But woof, I mean, like hand sanitizer. I mean, there's smells, like there's lavender and stuff. I mean, can you pick it out anyways? Is it?
Absolutely. I'm like a drug sniffer dog with hand sanitizer. However you dress it up and disguise it, I cannot abide it.
Huh. Well, that leads me to my next question, because I'm thinking, if something goes wrong here, you could always work at the TSA, when people were boarding planes, if we ever fly again. But Janice Lansbury, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Oh, now that's a deep question. It's going to sound terribly boring, but I honestly can't imagine doing anything else. I had dreams when I was younger about performing or being on the stage, but this allows me to be in front of the camera and do public service, I think.
Right.
So I wouldn't change it for the world, Dave.
You know what? I love hearing someone when they give that particular answer. And heck, without all of this inflammation and scabs and oozing, you never would have found your Jerry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just been a gift.
Oh, and finally, if heaven exists, what medical condition would you be thankful that you didn't have during your time on Earth?
this is a really interesting one, and I do obviously in my research and my method, I do a lot of research into medical conditions, and there is one in particular that has the worst name. It is called Scrofula.
What?
It's terrible, or the King's Evil. I don't believe it's very common anymore, but it's this horribly disfiguring condition that medieval people believe could only be cured by the king. So that's something that exactly, and we don't have a king anymore in England.
No.
So I would be very worried if I caught that.
So Scrofula.
Scrofula. It's
Okay,
a
'cause
marvelous name.
I know
It's a terrible
scapula.
thing.
Yeah, scapula is that little blade in behind your back. So you know what? I wouldn't want Scrofula either. You know, Janice Lansbury, it has been amazing talking to you. I cannot believe Bob behaved like he did. So you promise me, if we ever meet, maybe I'll mail it to you. You need to sign Bob's scrub. He'll be on top of the world if you do that. But thank you so much. Best of health, if I dare say that to you. And I hope Jerry gets out of quarantine soon.
Absolutely. It's been wonderful, Dave. Thank you so much. And I promise to sign anything Bob sends me.
You know what? This is recorded. We're keeping you to that. Thanks, Janice.
Wow. You know what? I'm officially renaming that interview Love in a Hazmat Suit. You are one of a kind, Jerry. And Janice Lansbury, be well, stay well, heal up quick. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. But we all love and admire your dedication. Next up, we've got live music. He wouldn't say what song he's going to play, but he is so amped up to bring his amazing ukulele skills to Now You're Talking with Dave McCabe. So without further ado, Mr. Ukulele! Oh man, the precise picking and strumming. Like, a song like that tells a story every little bit. I was hanging on my seat. It sounded great. What? What? Oh my God. You mean we could only hear that in the studio? God. Well, the news isn't getting any better. Up next is my interview with the Siren. If you have a life jacket or some water wings or floaties or any sort of flotation device, a seat from an airplane, something, you know, it wouldn't be the worst idea to have close. The Siren, everybody. In 1893, W.K. Hamlin was one of 3 survivors of the oceanic cutter, the SS Breaking Wind. More than the wind broke on that fateful day. Upon rescue, my great-great-great-grandfather took brush to hand and paint to canvas to record those events. Some say it was painted as a warning. Sirens are dangerous creatures. They lure nearby sailors with their singing voices to shipwreck them on the rocky coasts. The Romans witnessed them on some of the smaller items called the Sirenum Scopuli. More sightings later were reported on the islands of Anthemoessa, then Cape Palorum, Paestum, and then, of course, the Capris. The distinctive feature of each one of these locations? Each is surrounded by steep cliffs and sharp, jagged rocks. Sirens live in environments rich in vegetables and fruit. However, they are cannibals. Sirens consume the poor wretches, meeting their fate at the melodic enticements leading to their ultimate destruction and consumption. We have the documents here. It is written, when the soul is in heaven, the sirens seek, by harmonic motion, to unite it to the divine life of the celestial host, and when in Hades, to conform the soul to eternal, infernal regimen. But when on earth, their only job is to produce generation, of which the sea is emblematic. I'm confused by that statement too. But for real, feeling kind of vulnerable on this one. I just can't show the siren any fear, any weakness. But I'm prepared. I've been doing this long enough, and maybe I am heeding the warning of my great-great-grandfather, W.K. Hamlin.
It is a rare honor to gain audience with an actual siren, let alone have access to one in such a setting. I am told you are the one called Is it okay if I call you Helen for the duration of this interview? Is it?
Go to sleep, little baby.
Okay. I'm just tripping over hygienius for whatever reasons. And Helen's just so much easier for my human tongue. So, Helen it is. So, Helen the Siren. Now you're talking with Dave McCabe. All right. Hey, I have to say, your appearance is taking me back a little bit. The Greek historians have scribed, your kind have the attributes of the creatures that take flight. Your kind have the attributes like a sparrow. Piercing eyes. Oh, you got those. Lower limbs, clawed, and then your legs joint backwards. And then sometimes you have wings and sometimes you don't have wings. So Helen, do you have any sparrow-like features? Any? But I don't see any. I don't see any. I don't see any. The 7th century Anglo-Latin catalog called the Liber Monstrorum say that the sirens were women, from their heads to their navels, and instead of legs they had fishtails, and that sounds like a mermaid to me. You're not a mermaid, are you? Hey, the form we see before us. Is this your true form, or is this a form you just kind of, put together for the interview? This this form. Snap out of it. Something else. The ships that pass nearby, do you lure them all in? Or are there specific ships that you prefer to lure in more than others? Like, I don't know, like cutters and whalers and schooners. Does it matter? Does it matter what kind of ship? I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I don't know. So anyways, hey, so you're cannibals. Is it that you don't care for the abundance of fruits and vegetables that are on the islands that you guys live on, that you inhabit? I mean, you guys live for a long time. I mean, nobody knows exactly. How old are you? I just feel giggly. I don't know. Because I think having a salad would be nice from time to, I like a good steak too, but would you like a salad? No. I don't know. So your current eating habits. We're trying to get to know you. Would you say they're more keto or more paleo? Keto, So you lure in a lot of sailors, right? I mean, that's what a siren does. Have there been any more that are been more special than others? I mean, I guess, I don't know. I guess I'm just sort of asking, do you get to know them before you make them your meal? Oh my God. I picture 1,000 words, hey, I'm just gonna ask, um have you ever fallen in love with somebody you've lured into the sharp jagged rocks ever? Like, do you know what love is?
Go to sleep, little babe.
I,
Go to sleep,
I,
little babe.
I, come on, pull it together, Dave.
This is where everything's a blessing. Don't be
Okay,
scared, look
I
around,
got this.
little
Well, Helen,
babe.
hey, thanks for your
Go to
time
sleep, little
and being
babe.
patient with all the questions.
Go to
I feel like
sleep,
we learned a lot.
little
Everybody,
babe.
did we learn? Is this room moving? Is this room moving?
Sleep.
I mean, I swear to God, I hear the sounds of a crash. Oh my God, of a crashing reef. I mean, I'm not in a boat. I know. I'm not in a boat. Am I? Am I in a boat? Oh my God, Bill. God, thanks, Helen. Thanks, Bill. Cut the link. Thanks, Helen. Man down. Man down. Man down.
I gotta tell you, that siren interview really messed me up. But they say the only way to overcome your fears is to face them. I made it this far. I just don't think I'm ready for the water yet. Maybe soon. That's our show. Special thanks to Harriet Riley, the guy that played ukulele that I wish you all could have heard, and Emma Hurley. The credits are about to roll. There's no better time to synchronize swim.